What's up, everybody? Welcome to our weekly podcast. Even though we've been away the last 2 weeks due to unforeseen events, we are back now to talk about all things paranormal, to talk about some of our most memorable investigations. And tonight, we're going to talk about one of our favorites, the Bergen House, which is located in Bergen, New York. So, before we go into that, let's go around the room. We'll start with my lovely wife, Melissa. Then we have Dave. He's in the top left. And we've got Terry and Travis, world famous Travis, the host of The Travis Show, joining us today, world famous paranormal investigator. We're also going to be taking your questions as well. If you have anything that you want to talk about or any questions about the investigation, feel free to go ahead and ask the question in the comments below, and we will address it as the show goes on. So the Bergen House, this is one of these locations where I don't think it was as known when we went to investigate, and that was, I believe, May of last year,
2019.
2019, and it's still memorable 2 days later. 2 days later, 2 years later. Sorry, I just woke up. I'm a little groggy. But Bergen House, built in 1858, and the way that it was when we got to the location, we were met with Kathy, who's the owner, and it was just one thing after another of all these crazy instances and things that were going on with this location and the property. It was just overwhelming, and we were like, wow, this is going to be a pretty crazy thing with everything going on. But it was built in 1858. There have been reports of a lady walking up a long driveway there, and she was apparently pregnant with a married man's child, and I believe the man was a justice of the peace. There's a report of a figure standing on top of the barn that they have there. A woman committed suicide in the barn. I think her name was Catherine. I'm not sure if this is that woman that they've been seeing walking on the driveway. Disembodied voices, and there was a lot of them at this location. I think when we went upstairs, we heard like three disembodied voices in a row of a female saying something. Growls, shadow figures, objects moving. There's a grumpy man upstairs, and apparently, before you go upstairs into the attic, you have to ask permission or let him know that you're going up there. Otherwise, he may throw something at you, or you'll end up getting pushed down the stairs. At least that's allegedly what we've been told. So, of course, we complied with, the grumpy man's conditions. There's a swamp there where I think it's like 10,000 years old or something like that, and apparently witches would do ritualistic ceremonies there. I believe that there was a child that drowned on the property. There's a spirit named Black, which is a black mass that comes out of the dining room floor. There was human remains that were found on the property. There's a portal room in the attic, which we're going to talk about more a little later, where if you sleep in there, then you start getting suicidal thoughts. And apparently, both of Kathy's kids tried to do this when they stayed in that room. There's a strange cryptid in the living room that has been seen. But when we tried to look into the cryptid thing, the only response was it's gone. So it's kind of like a confirmation that there was this thing that would come around, but it's no longer there. So it's just a whole bunch of stuff. We had so much stuff to go on. I don't know if there's like, oh, we got Kathy actually, who owns the Bergen House, is on. Kathy Hegland, she's on. So say hello to her. But the location was incredible, and we still talk about it to this day. And we were talking about it a week ago. We're like, we have to get back there because it was just a crazy experience. There was just so much stuff going on there. We got some really interesting evidence to show you guys today. Um, Now, when you are pulling up onto this location, and from what I understand, everything was fixed by now, but the road pulling up, it was just like giant craters, these giant potholes. So, if you're investigating and things went sideways and you're like, I gotta get out of here, there's no way that you're gonna be hauling ass out of there because these giant potholes, you gotta go like 5 miles an hour over them in order to get to the house. The house itself, it looks kind of menacing for a farmhouse. It's kind of old looking, dilapidated. It just looks like a creepy house. It just looks awesome, basically. Um, as far as the creepiness factor, what do you guys think? What was your initial reactions?
Definitely one of my top creepiest places I've ever been.
Yeah, no, I agree with the creepy. As soon as we got there, the door frames are not very wide. Some of the floors were a little slanted, so you almost got the impression of like a fun house when you were walking around in some of the rooms. But as soon as we pulled up, Kathy had pointed out lots of information about the swamp. I believe it had the only two types of poisonous snakes in the state of New York. How many? Three, whatever. Um, you know, uh, Kathy, I don't even think we had popped the trunk, and Kathy came out and told us 10 different stories. And we hadn't even gotten our bags out. And then
she had a lot to say.
Yeah, and the fireworks started immediately when we got in, and the obelisk started going off. And we'll get into what we started picking up as soon as we got there, which was kind of like it was personally getting a message to me pretty quick. So there was no unwinding time from the minute we got out of the car.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Terry? What were your thoughts?
Definitely creepy. Definitely the feels, as I call it. But I can't. I want to go back. I really want to go back. I feel like there's so much we missed, even though we got so much. There's so much more.
Yeah.
So,
Travis, what did you think? What was your initial reaction pulling up?
It was
You realized
interesting.
you weren't gonna get ice cream there, and that was your first and last thought.
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite part was Curly, their little tiny dog who was so cute. I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's doing well, Kathy.
Yeah, and Kathy also mentions shapeshifters as well going on there, like just a bunch of stuff. I think.
I don't know, Nick. Didn't a boy drown in the swamp?
Yeah, somebody drowned on the property, I believe. And from what I understand, I think the property is like in a triangle shape. Just correct me if I'm wrong there, Kathy. So we wanted to go upstairs and talk to, I guess, the grumpy man there. We asked permission. We had the obvious as we were walking up the stairs there, and we got three really interesting responses right off the bat. We got feasting, feed me, and then souls. So that was kind of like, all right, what are we in store for here? Kathy says in 1901, a boy drowned somewhere on the property. Interesting.
probably that swamp.
Yeah. So
when we first got there, I got thrown off my A game right off the bat. If you want to get into what the obelisk started stating, or do you want to do that later?
we'll get into that a little later.
Okay.
Right now, I want to play this one little clip for you. This was when we just turned on the camera. We're still unpacking, and we got so many disembodied voices there. This was one of them that I heard right out the gate. So I'm going to play this clip for you here. Here we go. This is kind of like a little welcoming to the Bergen house. thought I heard a sound.
It was outside.
No, it was like right in front of me. It was like a.
Yeah, it was outside.
Gotta love Terry. She's not even listening to me. Oh yeah, it's outside. I'm like, no, I heard it right in front. No,
Terry
it's
debunked it
outside.
instantly.
Debunked it right off the bat. So.
I hear it now that you play it back. I hear it now.
All right. Well, there you go. We got another clip that we'll play you as well as we're talking about the man upstairs. This one here was when I was actually reviewing it, and this EVP, I just love it. You can hear the tone of the voice. You can hear how menacing it is, and well, we'll play you this clip here. Check this out. What's up, guys? Taking a little break here. We got this amazing location, all kinds of crazy shit going on. But I wanted to share this EVP with you because this is absolutely incredible. We caught this up in the attic. And basically what's being said is, my name is hell. Let me see if I can flip this around so you guys can hear this. That's crazy. My name is Hell. And Dave, why don't you talk about what Kathy told us when we got that EVP and we played it for her?
Oh, Kathy's like, oh, he's just trying to scare you. He was excited. He knew you guys were coming today. He's just trying to scare you. She was calm, cool, and collected. So I was looking for holy water myself. But
Just another day for her.
yeah, that was a response to you asking who I captured on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And the response was, my name is Hell.
Mm-hmm.
And we all kind of, our eyes popped. We looked at each other, and Kathy's just like, he's playing with you.
Now, being in this house, I think it was one of these locations where it was just multiple people that just felt something weird. I know myself, I felt like I was walking through quicksand. When I was in the dining room area, I was touched in one of the bedrooms on the back of my neck. I think, Terry, you had some nausea, some dizziness while you were there.
Yeah, I think when we first got there, I felt nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometime while we were in the upstairs bedroom, I was dizzy. So I also got touched in the downstairs bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was. There wasn't very much room to sit down, but because I have old lady symptoms, I have to sit down and stretch my legs because of my knees. And so I put my feet under the bed. And that wasn't a really smart thing to do in a haunted house, as something then decided to touch my feet.
Mm-hmm. You probably should have checked under the bed first, just like they do in horror movies.
Right?
Check the closets, check under the bed. You never know what's working.
You never know, right?
And Melissa, I think you also got dizzy.
When we walked in, I definitely was feeling dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah.
All right. And disembodied voices. Like I said, when we were going up, we heard a woman, 3 disembodied voices that was coming out of the portal room. And we're gonna play you a little clip now. What kind of kicked things off with that portal? So we're doing a ghost box session, and then all of a sudden, the music box in the portal room starts going off. The portal is actually in the closet, so we had the music box pointing towards the closet, and it kept going off. Dave started taking a bunch of photos. He started catching like a white mist type anomaly, which was in the direct path of the music box, and then eventually he ended up catching a photo, which is really a remarkable photo of this black mass covering basically the whole photo. You can see the blue of the wall as this thing is just covering everything. So let's play what kind of kick things off here with that portal room.
Who's here with us? Help. You hear that
That
help?
was a woman's
Yeah.
voice.
Did you hear that?
What?
Sounded
The
like a
box?
thing
Oh,
that-
the box went off.
the music box sounded like it wound a little bit.
I heard it.
You
Jack,
sure?
where did you put it?
Here,
Oh,
playing.
it's playing right now.
And it's facing the portal, right?
Yes. We were right. We heard it start.
Who's over there? That's me. Did somebody just come through that portal? Oh, I got such a chill.
Right. So from then on, Dave started taking his photos, and we're going to show you the sequence of the photos, and then we'll end with the main photo. So let's check that out right now. So the music box is going off. We send Dave in to take some photos, and he caught what looks like a white mist in the direction of the music box, and that's pointed at the portal. And eventually, he keeps snapping photos. Now, one of his photos is this big black mass that's standing in front of the portal, and you can see still the blue of the walls, but this black mass is just taking the entire photo up. That's really an awesome photo. Dave, you want to shed a few comments?
Yeah, I had taken dozens of photos. I was literally just clicking away, and we saw the whole series where suddenly you saw the orbs in front of and the white anomalies in front of the curtain and the furniture. And then it was funny because you had like 20 normal pictures, then this black mass where you can see the shoulder outline and everything. And then the very next picture, a second later, it was back to normal, and you can see more orbs and things near the foot of the bed. But it was, you'll see 20 normal photos, then the black mass, and then 20 normal photos again. So there were a lot of photos to look through because I just kept snapping away at that point.
Right.
And this bedroom is upstairs where you have to announce yourself before
When you're
you
going
go
up.
up there.
Mm.
Now, you had asked during the Spirit Box session, I forget the man's name, Mr. Pompero or something like you said, who was that on Dave's camera? Who did Dave get a picture of? And that's when you got the response, my name is Hell.
Right. All right. Very good. And another thing, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when we had the Ovulus, after Dave had caught this photo, the Ovulus said shadows, shape, and front. So it was like, it validated Dave's photo when we got that. So that was pretty awesome. So as far as Kathy goes, she's got a very deep connection to this property. We brought her in to, try and investigate with us, maybe have her ask some questions and see, what kind of responses. Remember, we were in that dining room area, and she was, kind of trying to get an answer. And the Ovulus said Kate, and it was said bring her. And we did an EVP session, and she said, Catherine, are you here? If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the woman that hung herself in the barn. And we ended up getting an EVP that said next to you. And then the Ovulus said hang. And then Kathy was like, she wants us to go to the barn. So we went to the barn. We were getting some activity. But really what kind of stood out on the ghost box was we got the name Steve, which happened to be her brother who had passed away. And we asked Steve, how did you die? And we got gunshot, and Kathy validated that Steve was her brother who shot himself. And we asked how old. We got the number 18, and she told us that was the age that he had done this. So pretty crazy stuff, the connection that she has there. So I want to go into something that happened back in that upstairs bedroom. And the whole sequence of things going on in these next clips was pretty interesting. So as we are all gathered in this one room crammed in there with the portal, I believe Travis and Malia were sitting on the bed. Kathy was in the doorway kind of looking in to see what we were doing. We had a solo X camera that was pointed on the outside of the room while we were all filming inside the other room. And let's watch Travis here. He's going to be sitting on the bed, and you'll see this is when he gets touched. And you'll see he's just sitting there, and he kind of just looks over to his shoulder, and he like touches his shoulder, and he asks Malia, "Did you touch me?" And then she's like, "No." And Travis hauls ass out of there, and he goes right to the doorway of the portal room that we're in. And as that's happening, I want you guys to look closely at the table that is behind them. You see this black mass comes in. It just kind of flies in. It almost looks like a square, but it flies in, kind of hovers a little bit, and then it flies back out again. But if you look close enough, you're going to see like a light anomaly that's traveling with it. At first, I was like, could this be maybe somebody's arm that kind of got in the way? It's not. When you look at this footage, you're going to see this. It just looks like a square. And there's a break as far as where the table ends and where this black mass begins, where it's white, which is the table. We had Missy take a look at this video footage, and she got the impression that this was some sort of male entity that was on this. So I'm going to show you this clip here. There's 3 different clips I'm going to show you. So we'll show you the clip of Travis getting touched, and then you'll see for a moment this black mass that comes into the picture.
I just heard Nick.
You know my name?
Yes. You were still talking to Nick.
Who's here?
Well, you just touching me. I was just touched.
You were touched?
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah.
Where were you touched?
On the bed.
Okay, but where on you were you touched?
The shoulder.
It was like a tap? Did you hear that? Somebody just said me on the ghost box. Did you just touch Travis? There's also this light anomaly. You see it kind of swoops down and then it kind of swoops up. Dust doesn't act like that also, and it wasn't a bug, that was doing that either. But I want to play this clip again. This is the light anomaly. We slowed it down a little bit. We gave you a couple more replays of it so you can take a look at it. You right?
Yeah.
Where were you touched?
On the bed.
Okay, but where on you were you right?
Yeah.
Where were you touched?
On the bed.
Okay, but where on you were you? Interesting stuff. So from then on, we ended up asking Travis, what happened. So let's get his recount of what happened there.
I need my light.
Tell me what happened.
Get the camera over here, Travis.
I was sitting right here.
Uh-huh.
She was standing around here.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt someone grab my shoulder and start pulling me.
They pulled it twice?
Multiple times.
And that was right here?
I was
Stay?
right around.
Meaning it doesn't want me to go in there and turn the music back on?
I don't know. It means it wants us to stay up here. It's probably the kids. The kids like it when people are up here because they play with
Oh,
it.
I'm gonna put that music.
Travis, you want to take us back to that moment? What was going on in your mind when you were touched? From my memory, I don't recall that you've been touched at a location until the Bergen house.
Yeah, I think this was his first one.
So that was his. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and he says he wasn't scared, but he hauled ass. The bull was scared.
Travis can move. I mean, he's a big dude, and I've seen the track videos of him, and
Yeah,
you know,
he
these
can move
people
it.
that are all like skin and bones, and he's like the Flash, just like running past him. So when
Yeah.
Travis has to move, he's gonna be moving.
Yeah.
Travis, you wanna comment on that? No comment.
He's speechless.
No comment.
All right. Okay. There was a lot of stuff going on with that property. We were also told that there was slaves there. And on the obvious, we did get dirt and south, and I believe that there was a slave that was possibly buried alive there. I'm not sure, Kathy, if you want to correct us or validate what we had said. One of the parts of the investigation, it was almost like a little psychological games that they were playing. What's going on over there, Terry?
Nothing. Brittany came up and stood like a freaking ghost. I looked over. She's pale as shit.
Yeah, because I'm freezing.
And I look over there and she's just standing there and it scared me for a minute. Because Missy had already confirmed that my brother is here.
Mhm.
Because when we first started the podcast, she messaged me and said, "Hey, are you feeling cold in between the two of you?" And I said, "Yeah, who's here?" Because I knew someone was here.
Mhm.
And she said it was my brother. So I already know at least my brother's here.
So she
Eric's
said this
used-
during this podcast that there's somebody between you now, or was that earlier?
when the podcast first started.
Oh, okay.
And I know he's here. I felt it.
Hmm.
But I'm having a struggling kind of day as far as he goes. And I was looking at pictures. So I'm not surprised that he's here because I'm having a rough day.
Mm.
And so, yeah, anyway. She said he knew that I just kind of needed some extra support.
Hmm. Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go into this next clip here. It's a little bit of a psychological game that they kind of singled Dave out for on this next clip here. So let's just play these clips here, and then Dave will go over, what was going on.
So does anybody want to talk to us? What's that?
Gianna. That's my daughter's name.
Oh, man.
Did you speak with her today?
Texting.
Because I know she was upset last night, I remember.
Cry came up on the thing.
Well, you said you heard something.
Gianna was crying last night.
She was, and I just said
mentioned
that.
Oh, man. Film
Now
that.
it says worry.
Well, yeah, did you get worried when you saw Gianna's name?
Maybe you should give her a call, make sure everything's
Yeah,
good.
Morgan. She's with Jen and Ryan in Brooklyn at her dad's house tonight.
So I'm gonna go with him.
First off, you can get a worse angle of me. Who was filming? I think it
I
was
think
you
that was
filming.
me.
Thank you for that
Sorry.
wonderful, flattering shot. Let me play the next clip here because for whatever reason, StreamYard only allows me to do a minute clip each, which is lame. So here's part 2 of that clip.
So I'm gonna go with him.
He's next. Did you hear that? He's next.
I'm gonna go call my wife. Dave left.
And it
Denny
said-
went with him.
I said he's next. I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Ask her. What is that about? We just got asked her.
He said he's going to talk to Jen. Maybe he's going to ask her if everything's all right. He's going to check in, basically.
That's crazy.
I got Layla.
Home.
Home. He just went to call.
Holy shit.
That's incredible you guys got that because I called to ask if she was home, and they're back from Brooklyn. Gianna's home.
Wow.
Everything's good?
Yeah.
And I just got heart.
Wow.
Because you heart them.
Yeah, she's fine.
You heart them.
Thank God.
All right, Dave, you want to go explain some stuff?
Yeah, that was pretty quick as soon as we got in there. We were at Rolling Hills the night before the asylum, and Gianna had called me up crying. And Gianna doesn't cry very often, and she was crying to me because she had an argument with her boyfriend. She wanted advice. She didn't know what to do. So while I was in Rolling Hills Asylum, I was talking to her, trying to calm her down to see what was going on. And, we had this in-depth conversation. I gave her some advice. And then we roll up onto Bergen house, and there on the box, it mentions my name. Then it mentions...
So I'm going to go with him.
I don't know what happened there. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
But, to roll in there and have them mention my name, Gianna's name, then mention crying, which was my conversation with Gianna. And then it said something about check home because you guys said you want to call home. I'm like, I wanted to see. I didn't know where Gianna was. I was away for the weekend. I immediately called Gianna's cell phone. I'm like, where are you? What's going on? I wanted to know what was happening with her. And she was fine. She was home. And everything was fine. So I felt better when I walked in. But, I think everyone here, all of us agree. We believe like the spirits know who we are before we get there. They know our names. They know our occupation. They know everything about you. I've been called out for being a teacher. They seem to know my name everywhere I go, and the same with you guys. I just think they knew stuff and were talking about stuff they knew. Whether it was to intimidate me or just to communicate, I don't know. I've never really had anything negative hit me in all these investigations. I've probably done 37 investigations. I haven't had anything negative happen to me, really. But, it did throw me off my game pretty quick. I was like that. It was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
They knew stuff.
Yeah. And, as far as, going back to what you said about spirits knowing everything, in my experience, and I've been doing this, 8-9 years. I lost count at this point, but I never say my last name on any investigation. I don't have a common last name, but yet I've gotten my last name come through. There's times where I've asked, "What did I have for lunch today?" Just kind of just looking for response out of the box type questions, and it would tell me, you had pizza or whatever, which everybody knows I love my pizza, but even the spirits know, so they kind of know everything about you. So Kathy says during a seance, it came out a slave was caught, tortured, and then killed. Kathy, we ended up getting the name Robert. Does the name Robert mean anything? And do you remember
Robert's a teenager. He's a teenager in the barn.
Jenkins. Jenkins was the last name?
They think possibly that his last name is Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Can I jump in with something off topic real quick?
Okay.
You notice Travis sitting a little taller? More. Kelsey's watching.
Oh, Kelsey.
So everybody say hi to Kelsey.
I've heard about Kelsey's cupcakes. Is it?
Yes,
is it true
that's Kelsey. So she's watching. So as soon as I told her she was watching, he got himself sitting up a little taller,
Yeah.
trying to impress Kelsey.
Maybe put on a little extra cologne there for impress Kelsey.
No, he didn't. But if he thought she could smell it, he probably would have. So everybody say hi to Kelsey.
All right, so Kathy says yes, he was a twin. I guess that was Robert.
Yeah.
But going back to this clip that we just showed you, when we got the he's next, we initially thought maybe Dave would be a target, but it wasn't Dave. Denny got very emotional upstairs. Like, he just started crying. And, Denny's tall dude. He was probably the biggest dude out of all of us that were there. And, he just got very emotional, whether he was just picking up, somebody's feelings or, I thought that was pretty interesting. So we were packing up the car, and, as we always do, we cut our cords, everything has to stay here. And Terry, you saw something when we were cutting our cords.
Yeah, I saw a shadow running. Was it between the kitchen and the living room? And kind of threw me for a loop. But Denny also saw the same shadow. So you know me, I love validation because I don't quite trust myself yet. So I love validation. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And we do have another clip here. It was a photo that I had taken. I was excited when I took the photo. I was like, wow, look what I got here. And then, after that initial reaction wears off, then it's, let me become an investigator and see if we can debunk this or explain the photo. So we're going to show you this picture here. Let me play this clip for you guys. So in the first photo, you see Melissa and I, and you also see Denny in the background, and right behind him looks like a shadow man is standing. Upon closer look, it's actually part of the shelf. So whereas a lot of people would be quick to say this is something that's paranormal, this was just something that we were able to debunk. It looks like it's something, but it's not. And that's part of our job being paranormal investigators, is we don't always just jump into believing that what we caught is real, because most times there's an explanation. So that was a bummer, but that's part of this field, though. You get something that's cool, okay, it looks cool, but is it real? We don't know. Can it be explained? If it can't be explained and you exhaust all your avenues, then it's paranormal. So,
And that's why we always try to take multiple shots of the same photo.
Right. Like, for instance, when we did the Thomas house, that was in
Boiling Springs.
Red Boiling
Red
Springs,
Boiling Springs,
Tennessee. So, Terry, you want to mention that?
That's the one from the lobby?
Yes.
So when I was in the lobby at the Thomas house, you guys had gone up to get batteries. And I was in the lobby with Travis. I felt something watching me. So I just started taking pictures. But every picture I took 3 or 4 of the same shot. And then after looking through all the pictures, we had something. And I think we tried for 2 hours, at least an hour, maybe 2. We tried to debunk that photo. And then we couldn't debunk it. And then the next morning or the same night, that Fernando verified that it was a demon.
Kind of looked like a goat skull. And you can see that on our eastcoastspiritchasers.com and our gallery, along with our other photo pictures. But I mean, we were looking at, just kind of trying to match up the exact angle. You're looking at pictures, angles, the way that certain things look.
There was mirrors, facing mirrors, so we were trying
we
to
were all over the place.
Right, to get the right positioning to try and recreate that photo, and we couldn't do it.
Right.
Same with what was the one location in North Carolina?
Asheville.
Was it Asheville?
Is that the photo that Mel got?
Yes, the Klansman
Yeah,
in
that
the
was in Asheville, North
reflection,
Carolina.
the reflection of the window pane.
Guys, just so you
Yeah.
know, while we're doing the podcast, Gloria wrote me and she's watching, and I think we're scaring her because she told me she's bringing a Xanax to next week's so she can sleep.
Well,
Nothing scary about next week
no,
or
not
Saturday.
at all. It's a bed and breakfast. I think that you'll be fine on this one here.
Mhm.
But yeah, so always validation and trying to debunk things. That being said, are there any questions maybe you guys have? Kathy, is there anything else that you want to add on as far as some details about the Bergen house? Something maybe that we didn't go over?
We never mentioned Red. We never mentioned Red.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
You want to talk about Red?
Red was a Mohawk Native American, I believe, and I remember Kathy telling us the story of she almost fell into the swamp and she felt an arm grab her, which she assumed was her father, and it pulled her up so she wouldn't fall in. And when she looked up, there was a Native American man there, and he kind of faded away. And I remember her telling us psychics had been on the property or mediums, and they had always seen this Native American that they just call Red. It used to be on the property.
and they've seen full apparitions of him.
There's a lot of different characters associated with this property. It's probably up there as far as one of my top favorite investigations, favorite locations. It's definitely a place that I want to get back to.
Definitely want to get back to it. It's been almost 2 years.
Right. If there's any paranormal investigators that are watching this, the Bergen House in Bergen, New York, you would not be disappointed investigating there. It's just so much really cool stuff. And I mean, we have a lot of these things happen all, but it's got the creepy factor, but it was never a location that I was actually scared of or anything like that. Nothing really scared me. I think people scare me more than spirits do. And you got to remember a lot of the spirits that were alive like us at one point as well. Most of them just want to communicate. Some like to play games. We get spirits that have a sense of humor. They like to joke around with us. Like for instance, when we did Rolling Hills, I think it was actually the night before this is when I was the old Ukrainian lady in the wheelchair
Yes.
going
Yes.
down the aisle, and Dave's like, like they're gonna believe that you're an old woman, but I got responses. They actually played along to what was going on.
Well, I'll never forget my first investigation at the Roundhouse. We got spirits laughing when I made some comments when they talked about when I asked what do you miss the most from the world, and one of them said chocolate, and we knew that they were German. So I said, "How about German Black Forest cake?" And they laughed. And we've gotten laughing out of them at different times.
Yeah. So we get a lot of personality, sense of humor, and stuff like that. So Kathy says, as far as the situation with Red, she was playing with bees in a mud puddle. He moved me away from them.
Okay, that's what
so in this case, there was a spirit that was helping her. So there's good, there's bad, just like people. They were people at some point, but thankfully, we really haven't had any bad experiences.
Creepy
I
one,
think
but not really
Creepy.
bad.
We like creepy.
Yeah, different. Definitely, I was creeped out here, but I was never really scared. So that's always a plus.
And I think we need to talk to Kathy about coming back up there. I know we're doing Wildwood Sanitarium in Salamanca, New York. I'm not sure how far that is from Bergen, but maybe
When is that? Is that April?
In April, April 17, I believe.
No, April is West Virginia.
Oh, that's right. April is Sweet Springs.
What's March 27th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So I mean, that would be great if we can do Bergen House as well. If there's availability as well.
Yeah, let me look at the schedule.
417 is Sweet Springs in West Virginia.
The 327 is New York.
That's Wildwood. Yeah, Sanitarium.
So if Kathy had like the Friday the 16th.
It's less than 2 hours away from each other.
Less than 2 hours?
The 16th. We're going the 27th.
Oh, the 27th. For Salamanca, New York?
Yeah.
327.
So she had the 26th.
So it's 85 miles. That's not bad.
No, that screams twofer to me.
Yeah, so maybe after this, Terry, if you want to reach out to Kathy, maybe we can work something out.
I'll reach out to Kathy. Kathy, if you can, no, I'll get her, pull her off of the page. Yeah.
Yeah, just contact her, check availability.
I'll reach out to her.
But yeah,
that would be awesome.
I'd love to go back up there into that portal room and see what we can get now. You know.
And I would love to do some stuff outside.
Yes, because the grounds, we were getting so much stuff on the inside. It's the grounds that we haven't really done. No. I mean,
we were in the barn for a while, but
March, Kathy.
I think March 26th, Friday, is when we'd be looking at, Kathy, if you're still watching.
So, and of course,
I'll reach out to you after.
Right, and of course, we'd be going live. Would you guys want to see us go back to the Bergen house and do, some live feeds there? That would be pretty cool. Definitely a place. Look at Travis. He's got this look. He's just all up in his Hugh Jackman look-alike.
Just in case Kelsey's still watching.
What a stud.
We gotta have Kelsey watch every week.
There you go. Look at him like a pro. Do you want to say anything to Kelsey, Travis?
Make me cupcakes, please.
Oh, okay. So Kathy says Bigfoot's been confirmed here too since you were here last. Nice. The only thing I think we're missing is UFOs or Loch Ness Monster. Other than that, I mean, it checks everything off on the list for the location. Yeah, I mean, you never know. Oh, thank you, Maggie. Thank you for that comment. Maggie said so handsome. I think that was directed toward me.
Probably Travis, but yeah.
I know, I was just being silly. Any questions by anybody? Anything you guys want to ask Kathy while she's tuning in? Kathy, has any memorable instances happen, in the last few months or anything like that you can tell us? Like, I'd love to know, what's been going on in there, because I know a lot of stuff goes on when you start getting these teams. The word is out. Bergen House, everyone starts going there and communicating. Spirits sometimes love to communicate with other people. So,
Sorry, Harry, I'm curious to see the difference between then and now for you.
Yeah.
At that place.
Yeah.
There's a big difference in my skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry's kind of opened up with her abilities, and she's at the point where she can read people now. She's even more of an EMF detector than before. Before she would get the feels, but now she's really getting the feels.
Well, back then at Bergen House, I didn't realize I had gifts. I just knew I got the feels, is what I called them. Hi, Vanessa.
Kathy says lots of shadow people, doors open and close. See, I love that.
Anybody new?
Is Kathy still living there? See, now I don't know if I could live there.
Sounds like something heavy being dragged upstairs. Oh, man. I can only imagine. Now, I know that there was a spirit, I think they called him the Undertaker, and he's actually the spirit on the shirt. Do you know where that shirt is?
I will go look. Give me a moment. I have an idea.
So Melissa's gonna find that shirt so I can show it to you guys here. So the Undertaker, I believe, was his name. I don't know. Is that the guy that's upstairs? Is he the Undertaker? I'm trying to remember. A lot of the details from when we actually went there. Oh, there's a Dawson here now.
Do you know where he came from?
I don't know, but apparently he's not nice.
Oh,
So sometimes you get a few cranky ones. You get some cranky spirits
yeah.
because if you think about it,
This guy.
these spirits when they pass, they're looking for a place to hang out at. So they may go to your house and say, you know what, I'm just gonna stay here. So there's a lot of spirits that it's like, okay, you're in my space now, get out. And that's one of the most common phrases that we get on investigations is get out of here,
Yeah.
leave, because some of them, they just don't want to be bothered. They don't want to talk. They just want you out of their place. So that's just some of the things. Look at Travis being all seductive there.
Looks like a cutout.
Boy, the female viewers are really tuning in now with Travis when he's sitting up like that.
Several
Uh,
lip prints.
So Vane C.
It's Vanessa.
Vargas.
That's Vanessa.
Okay, Vanessa. Terry, is the feeling scary? How did you open this gift up? And how do you communicate if you don't want to be bothered? What if you feel them draining?
Well, for me, I'm still learning. So we got into this paranormal stuff because Travis wanted to. I didn't know at the time when he was asking me to take him that he could see spirits. As a matter of fact, he told me today is the first time that he saw my brother. So
Oh, wow.
for those of you that don't know, my brother passed away unexpectedly 6.5 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. So today's the first day that Travis saw him. He said it wasn't scary, but he didn't talk to him. He just looked at him. So it's not a scary feeling. It's just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Like when I feel something, it's like spiders or like tinglies all over though. And it gets worse up and down my spine. I don't know any other way to explain it.
Mm.
And then what else does she say? How do I communicate? I can't communicate yet with spirit. I just feel them. So apparently in time I'll be able to do that. I need to start meditating and stuff like that, which I haven't started doing yet.
Their emotion. You feel their emotion because you're an empath, right?
I am an empath. I talked to Nick about this the other day because at his dad's services, I feel my pain because I'm still coming off the deaths in my own family, and I feel his pain, and then I feel his mother's pain, which is like a knife through my heart. It was a terrible day for me because I just feel everybody's pain. And like even when I was sitting behind your mom or standing behind your mom at that one point, I could just feel everything. I just wanted to like run. It was terrible.
And there was one point during the services that you felt a male behind you. So
yeah,
the investigator in me then snapped a photo.
To the right of me.
Right. So
in the funeral home.
I sent that. I think it was to Missy who confirmed that it was a male.
It was a male there.
A male presence that was near you. So maybe that was my dad. For those that don't know, my father passed away February 6th. And if you look at the last 6 weeks or so, it's just the team has been hit very hard with a lot of deaths, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Dave's stepfather passed away. Terry's brother, Terry's aunt, my father, and this is all in a 6-week span. It's just crazy.
It's been a lot for the team.
Yes, so we're hoping that that's the end of that. But Melissa ended up finding the shirt here. So let me see if I can put that up. This is the shirt that we got from the Bergen house because we love getting the shirts from haunted locations. And you can see this figure under the tree. That's the one that they call the Undertaker, I believe. As far as Dawson, Kathy says he was a soldier in the Civil War for the South. He came with somebody and he ended up staying there. So, guess he thought that was a pretty happening place. And, it was. So, it's definitely a location that I'd love to do again. Vanessa says, is there a way you guys ask the spirits not to follow you or harm your family? We always cut our cords after the investigations. We always state that as well. And thankfully, we haven't had many instances of that at all. I've been doing this for close to a decade, and I think I had maybe one instance. Well, if I want to count Karen, who's in our house, we allowed her to stay. But we had one other instance. There was an entity. It was female, and it was kind of portraying itself to look all old and scary looking, and it was kind of hiding in closets and stuff. So we had, the mediums connect to the place. Danny, our spirit friend in the afterlife, he was looking around, and they found her, and she actually showed her true self, and she wasn't this old, scary looking thing. It was just an image that she was projecting of herself so that other spirits wouldn't mess with her. It was like a self-defense mechanism. We found out through research that this was a teacher that passed away on a school bus accident. And do you remember what town it was? I know we have a file
We have
of
a
stuff.
file, but I don't remember offhand. Do you want me to grab it, or
You want to get it real
take
quick?
a look at it?
Yeah, I don't think I added her to my little diary thing I made with spirits that we personally.
Oh, the school bus driver?
Yeah.
She wasn't the driver, she was the teacher.
That's right. She was the teacher, not the.
So
I know we have that.
So I
printed
need to
out.
add her. So we've had a few, Vanessa. We've had a few people follow me home.
This is the woman that was portraying herself as.
Oh, send me that picture
Okay.
and
So
her
she
name
had.
and all that, so I can add her. 'Cause I don't have her in my little book.
All right. Well, I don't want to say her name out of
Yes, message me.
but
Yeah.
that's her. She was in our home. I guess just hanging out. Maybe she saw that we had some crazy paranormal equipment. Maybe she wanted to talk to us. Maybe why. Let's as far as spirit wise, it takes a lot to scare me.
Yeah.
Same with Mel.
Well, I started with the couple people that followed us home. So we have Missy and Fernando, our shaman and our.
Well, they follow you
medium.
guys because of your abilities, because you're so open.
Yeah, because we're so open, so they follow us. For example, last year, Vanessa, there was a car accident on 395, and that's where my work was, on the highway 395. And that person who died followed me home. And then our psychic medium and our shaman just nicely tell them they need to leave. And if that doesn't work, they tell them in not so nicely ways that they need to leave, and we just get them to move on. Now, there are some that we allow to stay here. My brother's here now. We got Danny, who comes by regularly now that him and my brother are friends in the dead life.
And are they still spraying you in the face?
I still get, not as often, but I still get sprayed in the face with water.
And if you guys check out episode 3, I think it was 2 weeks ago, our last show that we did, we actually have footage of her from her Nest Cam getting sprayed in the face. That's
in the middle of the night.
video.
They do it in the middle of the night. I hear the of the spray bottle, and I feel the water. And here's what I want to know: like, how the f do they do it? How do they do it?
Well, we're hoping it's water.
My brother would not piss in my face.
No, he might.
So.
Well, you know what? I'll also answer Vanessa's question when we were talking about the teacher, as far as how we got her to leave through paranormal therapy. Sometimes that's required to kind of help the spirits out, and that's one of the things that we do is help spirits. try and sometimes they have a message they want to get out. Sometimes they're just confused. Sometimes they just don't know any better. So Danny, I believe, talked to her and got her to go and be with her husband, and that's how she ended up leaving, and that was it. She never returned. So right now, in our house, we've got Karen, which I've documented plenty of times on our
Check out the
page.
YouTube episode on Karen.
Yes, the Chasing Answers episode 1, and her boyfriend D. My grandmother's here, and now my father is here as well. And that's some stuff that, as an investigator and someone who's also mourning, I've reached out. I've gotten some answers. He doesn't want to speak to any of the mediums. He just wants to talk to me directly, at least for now, until we figure things out. But I've gotten some really interesting stuff that I'll probably do a future podcast on. Talk about some of the evidence that I've gotten. And, I think it would be pretty good for anybody who's ever lost a loved one to know that, they may be there in your home with you, and it's comforting. And some of the evidence that I've gotten is really just fascinating stuff. And, I've also got a camera overnight that we're checking every morning because it gives me a little notification if there's some sort of movement. So I'm always watching that. It's kind of fixated on the area that he used to frequent the most to see if we get anything. And so far, I haven't caught anything other than the motion light for the neighbors going off, tripping the camera off. But so far, nothing there. But EVP wise, we've gotten some great stuff. I don't know if he's figured out how to use a ghost box yet. We haven't gotten anything with that, but we're gonna try some other things and see what we get. But we're past our hour. What's that, Terry?
No, I was going to jump in real quick and say I have to say that this is the first death that I've had since I've been doing the paranormal and been involved with people like Missy and Fernando. And my grieving process has been tremendously made easier because we have people like them. Because he was only 42 and died unexpectedly. I was so desperate for answers those first days. Not answers like why or what happened. More, I needed to know that he was okay.
Right.
And I was desperate, and I've never felt more desperate in my entire life. So thank God for Missy and Fernando, because they really, the two of them got me through those first 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah. So Vanessa says paranormal therapy, that's a good concept to softly deal with them. Also, have you all experienced your relatives visiting, and how do you know it's them and not another spirit?
That's a really good question.
That is a really good question.
Really good question.
I know as far as my grandmother, Missy connected with the house.
Yeah.
And she said there was a short, portly woman. She kind of described her. She couldn't speak any English. I ended up showing a photo. She was able to ID it. Fernando was able to see my father. He died he was 90 when he passed away, and he's portraying himself mid-40s now. And that's one of the EVPs that I got. I said, Dad, how old are you looking now? And he said 45. And I actually have that EVP. So I mean, there's other stuff that there's no way he would have known. Like, I did something at the funeral. I took one of these bracelets. I said, I'm just going to give this, put in his suit thing, take something with me with you. Mel did the same. She put a St. Benedict one in his suit. And we ended up getting an EVP that said, take the bracelets. Like, I don't know if my dad was maybe saying, you know what, you need this more than I do. This is to protect you. So that's kind of the message that I got from that. And, only my dad would know that I did that. So, we validate things that way.
I had my ex-mother-in-law, we had a broken music box play at midnight. And when I checked at midnight, it was her birthday when the music box started playing. And the music box I couldn't get it to play on my own. It played twice at midnight of her birthday.
Crazy stuff, so, if you look close, sometimes you'll see signs. I know grief is always something that you deal with as well, and sometimes maybe reaching, but I mean, sometimes there's obvious signs like the music box, that, kind of validate things. So.
And sometimes they just visit through dreams because that's the easiest form of visitation for them.
Mm-hmm. Now, you had a dream about my dad right before he passed away. You want to talk about
I did,
that?
actually. The night he passed, I don't remember the whole dream. It was really, really weird. I think we were driving him somewhere. It was me and Nick and somebody else in the dream. I believe it was your aunt with his dad's sister who was there, and we were going somewhere, and he wasn't talking. He wasn't saying anything. And then in the dream, I just remember wherever we were going, we were coming back. His dad wasn't with us in the car anymore. And I was actually woken up by the phone ringing, and that was the call that his dad had passed away.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's telling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, and I haven't had any dreams yet. Mom hasn't had any dreams yet either.
Yeah, I had that dream, and then I had another one the night after.
And then when your ex passed away, you had a dream also.
No, it wasn't a dream. We were sleeping, and I woke up to a whisper in my ear, and you even woke up and you were like, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah.
We both heard it. We were both asleep, but it was so like in our ear that we both woke up like, "What was that?" And then I found out that was a Saturday. I found out that Monday that he had passed away.
So crazy stuff. But we want to thank everybody who tuned in. We're a little past our hour, but listen, we can talk paranormal 24 hours a day if you guys wanted. We could do that. A lot of experiences and stuff, a lot of personal experiences as well, and that's something that we like to put out to you guys. So you guys get to know a little bit more about what we do, some of the experiences that we have, and see if there's anything maybe you guys can relate to. So we'll be back again next Monday, 8 p.m. with
Eastern
another
Standard
show,
Time.
Eastern Time. And thank you guys for tuning in. And hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.